book. All right, I got my book. Hey, world. That makes a difference if I turn the phone up. But we know that I stream on 2. Am I looking all of like Sunday? I feel like Sunday. What does Sunday feel like? Sunday is relax. Sunday is calibrating for the week. Sundays are peaceful. Hey, welcome, welcome. Just setting up. Haven't officially started. Ooh, so this is going to be interesting. I have little juice on my tablet, people. Because I've been using my tablet all day. All day I've been using my tablet. So I got 23%. I plugged it up like, I should have probably turned it off. But I plugged it up. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Soulful Sundays. You know we're about to dive into the seat of the soul. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay. Here we go. I think what I might do is, and it's going to be very, very, very tricky, but I feel what I might do is dive into like stream basically only on this platform here, and then download the video and then upload the video on to my YouTube channel, because 23% on my tablet, it's not given it's gonna last a whole hour, and we know sometimes my episodes go for a whole hour. So we gonna see. It's already acting a little bit up. But I am extremely grateful. Like, when I tell you the revelations, I can't even say all of the revelations. I just continue to encourage people to dive deeper within themselves, and because there is so much more to life than what we see on the freaking surface. And when you dive deep, baby, oh, it's gonna work. It's working now. Oh, no, the heck it's not. It's on 350 something. Here we go. All eyes on me. Woo. I'll be having fun in life every day. Every day, people, every day. I be noticing things and I just be like, whatever. Here's one thing that I noticed that I'm like, whatever about. Other people probably be freaked out about. Why is my live stream on YouTube? Sometimes when I go live here, again, once more, and I want to show it to you guys, because it's one thing to say something and it's another thing to show it. I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, it just went out. So sometimes when I start my live streams, brand new live stream, right? It says, do you want to continue the live stream you started already? And I'll be like, I ain't starting no live stream already. What they talking about? And I press no. Like, I have to show you guys this. I have to show you guys this. We have to get this on camera. This is going to be televised, okay? Let's see. I think I have to switch the camera around. Flip the camera. My messy office. All right. So you see this, people? It says, do you want to resume your last stream where you left off? It's a new stream, so where am I resuming? But let's press yes for the fun of it. Let's see what it does. Let's see if it's going to start 00. No. Do you see the time frame on there? Who's been filming live for that amount of time? Because it has not been me. It has not been me. Who? Who has it been? Who has 357 hours of moi? Who? Is that the total of all my lives? I know I got 1,000 videos over there. Is that the total? Who? whoever it is, obviously I'm already teaching. This is why people think I'm a teacher already, because I'm literally already teaching and I'm not aware of it. And I'm handsomely paid for it. And you're like, handsomely paid for it? Your records don't reflect that. You think I'm talking about those federal notes? Oh, no, 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 darling. I'm not talking about those federal notes. I'm not talking about the currency of man. I'm talking about the currency of the divine. It is the divine that handsomely pays me to learn, to share with you all. It is the divine. I am divinely contracted to be of service. And I am handsomely paid by the divine. So things like good vibrations, good health, gratitude, things to be grateful for. Oh, this is my wealth, an abundance of love. This is my wealth, baby. This is my wealth. So let's see what it's gonna do now. I'm gonna just stream here because it's already after 3. YouTube is already telling me it wants to act up. Let YouTube do its acting up. Welcome to Soulful Sundays. This is the Super T Podcast Show. And people often ask me, what is the Super T Podcast Show about? Well, first of all, I'm an intellectual. I am a very sexy nerd. Now, I know I'm not dressed up sexy right now because it's Sunday and I didn't feel like it, but I am on time. Because it's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and here I am. However, what we do over here at the Super T Podcast Show is we promote and we support and we encourage and we inspire health, total health, mental health, spiritual health, and physical health, because you have to be healthy in all 3 areas to actually be healthy. I see a lot of bomb bodies out there, but the minds be jacked up. The minds be on superficial things. And then they be wondering and be complaining, why is society the way it is? And I get the fact that there's been a lot of programming, but we are at the point in time where we have access to so much information that we don't need to allow others to program us. We need to actually know how to vet the information that we receive. Know what information am I going to keep for myself? What information is actually going to be valuable to me? What information is actually going to be valuable to the generations that's coming after me? We do need to be thinking ahead, people, as well as being present. And we need to realize, what's the source of this information? Where's it coming from? Who's it coming from? Why is it coming from them? Why is it so easy to access? And you have to vet what's going to be of service to you and your well-being and be able to say, nah, that other stuff is not cool. And now I'm open for a twerk. I get your sacral chakra is good to loosen up and let the energy flow. But everything can't be about ass. Everything can't be about ass, okay? And that's coming from somebody who got some natural cakes, okay? And you will find me doing a little shake here and there, okay? So again, I'm not being judgmental. I'm just putting things into proper perspective. Things have to be in proper perspective. So yes, having a nice body is nice and wonderful, fit and strong and healthy. I'm for it. I am for it. I'm developing my own, okay? You see, I got little muscles here. I got little muscles. I got little muscles. I got little muscles. A little bit. Just a little sun. I ain't no lightweight. Definitely over the 200 over here, over the 200. And I'm natural. Aside from these extensions, these are definitely extensions, people. These are extensions. I have no dye in my hair. And I'm not at this length because I went Wakanda a few months ago. However, back to the point. The point is total health. So healthy body, healthy mental. Are you processing your emotions properly? Have you healed from the past? A lot of us, especially us here, brown folks in America, have experienced trauma. Even Even when we have had two loving parents, even when we have had a nice, loving, supportive, strong community, even with those things, just as brown, black folks in America, we have experienced trauma. So I get it. Have you healed from that trauma? Have you went deep within yourself and made some conscientious choices and decisions to get healthy, to be able to process your emotions properly? These are just questions I'm asking, prompts, things that you may want to consider after this broadcast is over. Write it down so you remember it if you're going to forget, okay? Or just watch it again. But yes, and then the biggest part, because the biggest part of us is our soul. Our souls is the biggest part of us. It's not what we see with our eyes. It's who we really truly are. Our spirits. How is your spiritual health? And I don't mean do you go to church every Sunday. I don't mean do you read your Bible every day. I mean, what is your true spiritual health? Because spirituality is beyond those buildings. The things that the Christ, one of the Christ, Yeshua ben Yosef, taught us was that the kingdom of God is within. Within. That means it's within you. It's within you. Your body itself is a temple. A place and a space where you're supposed to be honoring and acknowledging the divine, divinity, aka God, aka Allah, whatever you want to call that infinite source and that infinite power that got our little blue planet, because we on a little blue planet, people. Please don't feel like we are the most intelligent things in the universe, okay? Bring it down a notch. Be confident. Love yourself. But don't be like, I'm the most intelligent. We humans are the most intelligent here on this little blue planet where we got evidence on our behaviors that add up to different. I'm just saying. We got evidence of our behaviors collectively, human beings, that shows we got some intelligence. We pretty intelligent, but we could be better. And so I know I have absolutely no control over you or anything that you do. But I know for myself, I am constantly working on being my best version and steady evolving and sharing that process, my process, encouraging you to find your own process and encouraging you to do the work you need to do for yourself so that you are mentally, spiritually, and physically well and strong and healthy. So with that being said, that is what the Super Tea Podcast Show is about. That is the tea that I spill. Yes, I interact day to day like everybody else out there in the world, mixed with a whole bunch of other different energies, a whole bunch of different other personalities, a whole bunch of other different levels of consciousness. However, I stay true to me and I encourage you to be true to you. We're going to go into this book. We have been reading this book for 16 weeks. We're on the 16th week now. Hey, we on the 16th week now. Hey, and I'm going to jump right into it because I have some other studies to do. I am in college full-time currently. Well, technically part-time. Because one of my classes is not 4 credits, it's 2. And I didn't know that. It's about 2 weeks ago. But anyway, it's like one of my best classes. That's that professor there. She's a sister. She's a soul sister. Anywho's. We are reading from Gary Zukav, Seed of the Soul. I love it. I love it. I love it. We are on chapter 16. And after we complete this book, because I think we only have 1 chapter left. Is this the last chapter? Hold up, people. This is the last chapter right here. Right here. I don't know where, I know. I actually do know. I was about to say, I don't know what's going to be the next book that we dive into. But I do. We're going to dive into a Joe Dispenza book. This is my good, I want to say Colombian Italian brother. Yeah, he's doing some big major things. If you're not familiar with Joe Dispenza, please Google him, okay? I have been listening and watching his materials I started before the pandemic, so we're in 2025 now. I want to say 6 years maybe. And it took me some time. When I first went to one of his live events, I was not as open. I did not really trust, you know, those type of folks. And even though, again, he's like Colombian and Italian, still, I'm still very traumatized and not as open. But I still went because it resonated everything that he's teaching. And the fact that he is a neuroscientist made it even more attractive to me, because it's like, oh, you got the data and the proof to back up what you're saying. And I'm into mysticism, and I know by what resonates, what doesn't resonate, what's accurate, what's not accurate. So nobody has ever hyped me up into anything. They have tried when I was in my 20s, but it didn't work because my spirit is what my spirit is. And even when I was not as conscious of the strength of it, it still was very strong. So, it didn't work. But that's neither here nor there. I want to get into the book. The next book is going to be a Joe Dispenza book. I don't know which one it is yet. Might be the one on my nightstand, because that one is the most thinnest one that I have. And yeah, it's probably the one on my nightstand we're going to go into. So I'm excited about next week already. Next Soulful Sunday, we dive into a new book. Anyway, right now we are doing Gary Zukav, and we are on our last chapter. And interesting. Now, the Joe Dispenza book, have I read it? I feel like I have listened to it. I listened to the audio of it, and then I got it with intentions on reading it. And then life just got very busy. So I don't recall like going through that entire book. But it is my dream, like to have the time and the space where there's not a lot of different things going on. That I have to directly be physically present for. I'd rather be in the position of delegation and of just having just order and having employees and, having folks I can delegate responsibilities to achieve the things that I'm aspiring and that I'm here to do on the planet. And when I have that time, I visualize my library and it's being huge and me having cherry wood and, just being able to like just sit in my library or my study, ideally I'll have both within one of my homes. But yeah, just to sit there and just read, like just have a day, even if it's just a day out of the week where I can just sit there and just read, because I like it. I love it actually. And I love also to write. So I have a whole bunch of different journals. And like, don't send me to nobody's store and have me go down that aisle. It could be any store too. It could be a dollar store. It could be a Target. It could be a Kmart. It could be, I don't know if they Kmart exists anymore, but you know what I'm saying. It could be a store where they have notebooks and journals. So please don't send me in there. Don't send me down the journal aisle, because if I see one and it got a nice cover, it's going to be really hard for me to walk past it. I want to grab it. And so that's how I've been collecting the ones that I have. So, and speaking of writing, this is my little notepad right here. I actually just completed, for the most part, my first sci-fi fiction novel. Yes. It's wonderful. It's wonderful, 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 wonderful. And I do have a book manager, and she's probably gonna be another manager. This young lady feels like one of those lifers, one of those friends that you meet and like they're not just there for a phase, just because of the familiarity. Like even when she talked about her mom and stuff, her mom is in Texas, and I'm like, oh gosh, I've kind of like been not saying I've been, but I've kind of volunteered to be the surrogate auntie. Is that a word? Surrogate auntie? Is that a terminology? I don't know. The auntie, basically, up here. And I don't know if she has a real auntie up here or not. I know she got a real sister up here. But, she's very spiritual. The mother is also very spiritual. I don't know too much about the sister. But everybody who consciously decides to get deeper into spirituality, we all go through meeting the parts of ourselves. They call it the dark night of the soul, meeting the parts of ourselves that we have to look face to face at and get past and get beyond, you know? And I'm going to reference a cartoon because I think it's a cool way for people to identify exactly what that is, you know. And so there's a cartoon called Teen Titans, and if you just go onto YouTube, I'm pretty sure you can find, they had like a whole series called The Dark Night of the Soul, and it's basically where the animators had the characters fighting against these forces. And you know, again, it's a cartoon, it's just a depiction of the dark night of the soul, but in actuality, in the actual dark night of a soul, when a person has to look at the other parts, the counterparts to themselves, the counterproductive parts of themselves, they have to look at those parts. Sometimes they got to battle those parts, because those parts be like, yeah, I've been here, I've been the one, keep you safe, and you know, we don't trust people, we don't do this, blah, 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 blah. And you got to be like, yeah, I don't have to trust people. I'm going to trust the divine, because the divine is what's holding me. And that other part of you is like, divine, who's divine? Who told you who divine is? We don't know who divine is, you know? And again, I am probably oversimplifying the actuality of it, because sometimes it's probably way more deeper, but that's just the premise of what it is. You know, you gotta check yourself. What was that song they made? You gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself. You know, that's when hip hop was actually hip hop. I don't know what they be doing now. Just a lot of booty shaking. But anyway, I'm not against booty shaking. I'm just saying, keep things in perspective. It can't be everything. Your glutes are not everything. Okay? Anyway, let's get into this last chapter. Ironically, the last chapter is on trust. I'm going to dive right in now. This is chapter 16. Each soul comes to the earth with gifts. A soul does not incarnate only to heal and to balance its energy, to pay its karmic debts, but also to contribute in its specialness in specific ways. Each soul brings a particular configuration of the life force that it is to the needs of the earth school. It does this with purpose and intention. Before it incarnates, every soul agrees to perform certain tasks upon the earth. What the heck did I agree to? A lot, apparently. A lot. It enters into a sacred agreement with the universe to accomplish specific goals. It enters into this commitment in the fullness of its being. That is why when a soul succeeds in accomplishing its goal and fulfilling what it has agreed to do, there is a richness and a specialness to the lifetime of that personality that is recognized and honored by its fellow souls. Interesting. Both physical and non-physical. They like, yay! Go her! Go her! Go me, go you. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the book. Each soul takes upon itself a particular task. It may be the task of raising a family, or communicating ideas through writing, or transforming the consciousness of a community. Such as the business community. It may be the task of awakening the awareness of the power of love at the level of nations, or even contributing directly to the evolution of consciousness on a global level. Whatever the task that your soul has agreed to, whatever its contract with the universe, all of the experiences of your life serve to awaken within you the memory of that contract and to prepare you to fulfill it. An unempowered personality cannot complete the task of its soul. It languishes in an inner sense of emptiness. It seeks to fill itself with external power, but that will not satisfy it. This sense of emptiness, or something missing, or of something wrong, cannot be healed by satisfying the wants of the personality. Gratifying needs that are based upon fear will not bring you to the touchstone of purpose. No matter how successful the personality becomes in accomplishing its goals, those goals will not be enough. Eventually, it will hunger for the energy of its soul. Only when the personality begins to walk the path that its soul has chosen will it satisfy its hunger. Authentic empowerment and the fulfillment of the soul task upon the earth, therefore, are not separate dynamics. Authentic empowerment is necessary to accomplish fully the mission of the soul. Yet, as you move into authentic empowerment, you move towards the fulfillment of your soul's agreement with the universe. And as you move towards that fulfillment, as you move consciously towards the energy of your soul, you empower yourself. You and the work of your soul upon the earth expand together. As one grows and develops, so does the other. When a soul incarnates, its memory of the agreement that it has made with the universe becomes soft. It becomes dormant, awaiting the experience that will activate it. These experiences are not necessarily experiences that the personality would choose. They are nonetheless necessary to the activation of the awareness of the power and the mission of the soul within the consciousness of the personality and to its preparation for that task. What does it feel like to remember your soul's task? It feels good. When the deepest part of you becomes engaged in what you are doing, when your activities and actions become gratifying and purposeful, when what you do serves both yourself and others, when you do not tire within but seek the sweet satisfaction of your life and your work, you are doing what you were meant to be doing. The personality that is engaged in the work of its soul is buoyant. It is not burdened with negativity. It does not fear. It experiences purposefulness and meaning. It delights in its work and in others. It is fulfilled and fulfilling. Interactions with your parents and with those whom you have chosen to share your intimacy, and with those with whom, out of billions of souls upon our planet, you share parts of your life, serve to activate within you an awareness of who you are and what you are here to do. The pains that you suffer, the loneliness that you encounter, the experiences that are disappointing or distressing, the addictions, the seeming pitfalls of your life are each doorways to awareness. Each offers you an opportunity to see beyond the illusion that serves the balancing and growth of your soul. Within each experience of pain or negativity is the opportunity to challenge the perception that lies behind it, the fear that lies behind it. This is the dark night of the soul they're referencing. And to choose to learn with wisdom. The fear will not vanish immediately, but it will disintegrate as you work with courage. When fear ceases to scare you, it cannot stay. When you choose to learn through wisdom to evolve consciously, your fears surface one at a time in order for you to exorcise them with inner faith. That is how it happens. You exorcise your own demons. Your guides and teachers continually offer you light. They encourage you in each moment to your fullest growth and development. Yet they cannot prevent you from learning or growing, or you're moving through your experiences. You're supposed to move through them. You're supposed to go and then be stuck. Like, I was just stuck. I was stuck. No. Keep on moving. Keep push. There's something on the other side. You're going through something, you sad, you depressed. It's something on the other side of that. You're dealing with loneliness. You're dealing with any type of negative emotion. It's something on the other side. Just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. This is so even if you're able to communicate with them consciously and directly, your experiences will move you right or left. And you will ask your teacher this question or that. If you move left, your question will be entirely different than if you had moved right. And the reality that you open by that question will be entirely different. There is no single optimal path for the soul. There are many optimal paths. With each choice, you immediately create numerous paths within a choice, one of which is then optimal. In other words, the optimal path of your soul is the choice of awareness, the vertical path. Once you have made that choice, then comes the various forms of enactment. In what way, therefore, does non-physical guidance serve you? It is a partnership of challenging you to come to terms with the full width and breadth and depth of authentic power and responsible choice. It is not that you give permission to be mindlessly manipulated. It is that you give permission to be shown the fullness of your power and guided to its use. When you depend entirely upon the ability of your personality to determine what is best for you, you may stand in the way of a richness that is waiting for you. How do you know what the universe has waiting for you? If you take off your restrictions, if you are determined to have your life unfold in a particular way and none other, if you have your heart set on using your creativity only to accumulate money, for example, consider that you build your entire reality around that. Something that man made. It's a wonderful tool. Man-made drills too. Drills are wonderful tools. They're easier to use than a screwdriver, but nonetheless, it's still a tool. And that's my words right there. But let's get back to the book. The universe cannot help you in the same way that it can if you are trusting of it. In other words, if you are trusting the divine, that source of power that makes everything, even the people that have made the money in the systems that we now subscribe to if we choose to. I'm going to say that sentence again. The universe cannot help you in the same way that it can if you are trusting of it, because it cannot overshadow nor penetrate your choice. Yet, what if what you are doing is more appropriately regarded in a social sphere rather than an economic one? In other words, what if the enterprise that you seek to develop is more appropriately a way to an avenue that you have not yet recognized? It is now deadlocked because it cannot go down its appropriate path. For you have your hand on a door that you insist upon opening that will go nowhere. Can you see? Let go of what you think is just reward. Let go. Trust. Create. Be who you are. The rest is up to your non-physical teachers and the universe. Take your hands off the steering wheel. Be able to say to the universe, thy will be done, and to know it within your intentions. Spend time in this thought. Consider what it means to say, thy will be done, and allow your life to go into the hands of the universe completely. The final piece of reaching for authentic power is releasing your own to a higher form of wisdom. Long before we, as humans, as a species, became aware that there is such a dimension as the realm of non-physical guidance and teachers, each human being was being guided, and beautifully, by many non-physical teachers, even though unseen by us. This guidance happens nonetheless in its perfection and in its balance. This is what is happening now. It is just that for the first time, as we become multi-sensory, we are aware of it. We could put names with non-physical teachers and have a sense of personal relationship with them. Yet still, it is that what you experience is always appropriate and will always move towards the greatest wisdom of your development and guidance. Remind yourself that you are supported, that you are not going in it alone upon this earth. Dwell in the company of your non physical teachers and guides. Do not discriminate in terms of what you can and should ask and speak about. Just assume and live in the beauty of the bond. Do not fear dependency. What is wrong with being dependent upon the universe? Whether that is your teachers or divine intelligence, you do what you do for yourself, and the universe of your non-physical teachers and guides are there in assistance. They will never do it for you. It's not possible for them to do it for you. Delight in the dependency. Give your guides and teachers permission to come closer. When you ask for guidance and assistance, simply assume that it is immediately pouring forward. You may need to work a while to relax your mind and to receptivity, or you may need to have lunch or drive into town or do whatever it is that you need to do in order to relax your mind, to hear or to feel. But live in the total assumption that the moment that you ask for guidance, it is available. It is pouring into you. Try looking at life as a beautifully well-organized dynamic. Trust the universe. Trusting means that the circumstance that you are in is working towards your best and most appropriate end. There is no when to that. There is no if to that. It is. Release your specifications and say to the universe, find me where you know I need to be. Let them go and trust that the universe will provide, and so it shall. Let go of all. Let your higher self complete its task. Allow yourself to pray. Just as the many times human beings find themselves in circumstances where the hurt or the pain is so great that on their own power they cannot forgive, it is enough that they pray to be given the grace, the perception, the elevated light that will allow them to forgive. It is impossible for you to come full circle in this way of empowerment without prayer. It is not enough to want it or to intend or to meditate. You must also pray. Say it. You must talk. You must ask. You must believe. That is partnership. Think of what you are doing as entering into a partnership with divine intelligence, a partnership in which you begin to share your concerns with the understanding that there is an intelligence receptive to what you are saying that helps you create within your own environment of matter and energy the most effective dynamics to bring you into wholeness. You do not need to think that you create alone, but rather that you are guided strongly in ways to help co-create in the most effective way for your healing and for the fulfillment of your contract. Consider your intentions in your meditations as part of what is done within the context of prayer. Be able to say within your intentions in your meditations, and I ask for guidance or help, and expect to get it. Expect to get it. Aside from your level of the responsible choice of energy and how you form that into matter, the dependency on prayer assists you in pulling to yourself and invoking grace. Prayer is moving into a personal relationship with divine intelligence. It is impossible to have a prayer without power. It is impossible to have a thought that is a secret of all energy is heard. When you pray, you draw to you and invoke grace. Grace is uncontaminated conscious light. It is divinity. Prayer brings grace and grace calms you. That's the cycle. Grace is the tranquilizer of the soul. With grace comes a knowing that what you are experiencing is necessary. It calms you with a sense of knowing. Relax into the present moment. Do what you need to do in the present moment. Yours is not to worry about that, what we call the future. That does not mean that you do not consider the consequences of each of your choices. Taking into account the consequences of your decisions is responsible choice. It means to create strongly in the present moment. Do not lose power over the what ifs of your lives. These are unlimited and endless. Keep your power in the now and the present time. Keep your power just in the day that you are living on the earth and not on how to maneuver tomorrow. Use all of your worldly connections, but not out of panic and not out of fear. Do what you need to do on your end. Your choice comes in knowing appropriate timing, clear motivation, and trust. Allow your intuition to guide your timing. Take it inside. Ask how you feel and then move forward. Allow yourself to experience what it is to learn step by step. The freedom that comes from being unattached to the outcome, but operating from an empowered heart. Do not assume that the universe operates like humankind, because it does not. Do not insist that the universe comply with with your understanding of it. Rather, hold on to the thought that there is nothing without value that exists upon the earth, that it is impossible to create any form of life that does not have value. Therefore, it is impossible to create any action that does not have value. You may not see it, but that is irrelevant. Live in the trust that when it is appropriate, pieces will fall into place and you will see clearly. Trust allows you to call forth your negativities in order to heal them. It allows you to follow your feelings through your defenses to their sources and to bring to the light of consciousness those aspects of yourself that resist wholeness, that live in fear. The journey to authentic power requires that you become conscious of all that you feel. The unearthing and healing of your negativities may appear to be an endless process, but it's not. Your vulnerabilities and weaknesses and fears are not different from those of your fellow humans. Do not despair because your humanness awakens. Feel your intentions in your heart. Feel not what your mind tells you, but what your heart tells you. Rather than serve the fake gods of your mind, serve your heart, the real God. You will not find God in your intellect. Divine intelligence is in the heart. Open yourself up to your fellow humans. Allow yourself to experience what you feel towards them and to hear what they feel. Your interactions with them form the basis of your growth. When you fear what you will find in yourself or what you will find in others, if you allow yourself to hear what others have to say, you turn your back on the opportunities that the universe is giving you to find the power of your heart, the power of compassion. It is not until you have the courage to engage in human relationships that you grow. Compassion is mutual compassion. The physical body is soothed and invigorated by the energy of the heart and torn by the lower frequent currents of anger, rage, fear, and violence. When you treat another harshly and distance yourself from your heart, it is you that suffer as well as the other. And when you treat another with compassion, you treat yourself kindly at the same time. As your consciousness expands and as you become aware of what you feel, you become aware of the dual effects of compassion and the lack of it. You become aware of the damage that you do to your own body when you feel and act without compassion. Challenge your fears. Fear of growing and of transformation of self is what causes you to want to disengage from the present situation and reach for another. When you feel that you are in a pattern of wanting what you do not have instead of what you do have, of seeing the grass in the other pasture as greener because it's in the other pasture, confront it. Challenge it each time that it comes up by literally realizing that when it comes up, you are not in the present moment. You are not engaged in your present energy dynamic, but rather you letting energy leak to a future that does not even exist yet. Each time you feel negative, stop, acknowledge that you are, and discharge it consciously. Ask what you are feeling and what is at the root of it. Go for the root of it in that instant. And as you work to pull the root simultaneously, look at the positive side and remind yourself of the greater truth that there is something spiritually profound at work and that your life is no accident, that you are under contracts. Be mindful of the words that you use and the actions that you live and who you are and how it is you use your power. In other words, as you say what you say, as you make commitments, as you form the power of your life, keep clear at all times that you are what you say you are, that you put your force behind what you say and monitor that accordingly. If you are unaware of your intentions or if you suspect that you are operating from a second agenda, ask yourself, what's really going on? Check your motivations and automatically engage guidance. You will not be alone in your assessment. Trust allows you to give. Giving is abundant. As you give, so it shall be given to you. If you give with judgment, limitations, and stinginess, that is what you will create in your life. Judgment, limitations, and stinginess. What you say to others shall be done exactly unto you. That is the